Welcome to the 901 podcast. This will be my last episode, and on the previous episodes, I've talked about things as far as pyramids and the turf or grass scandal, or whatever you like to call it, in the NFL. And then I talked about, in my first episode, the Brian Flores case with the NFL and coaching discrimination. And with this being my last episode, I'm actually going to talk about something that's closer to home. It's not necessarily an issue, but I grew up a big Grizzlies fan, still am. But right now, it's kind of hard to watch them because they're not as successful as they have been in the past years. And the last time I checked, we were projected a 0.5 chance to make the playoffs. And we have missed the playoffs one time in the past 13 years, I believe. So that doesn't really make sense to me. It's just been a rough start. And most of that is probably coming from the best player on the team, Ja Morant, was suspended over the summer for some stuff he did, which was kind of controversial. I mean, my opinion on the whole thing is I think it's all been kind of blown out of proportion, considering he didn't do anything illegal. And if you don't know what he did, he flashed a gun on Instagram Live. And I mean, I understand it's not appropriate, but he didn't do anything illegal because, I mean, in Tennessee, it is an open carry state. There's nothing illegal about owning a gun, and you can open carry it as early as the age of 18. So I don't really understand what the 25-game suspension was. I don't understand if that was necessary. I don't think it was, considering he did not break a single law. He didn't point the gun at anybody. I think it was just a bunch of stuff happening around the same time, and that kind of led to the downfall, and they had to kind of react on the situation. But in about 7 games, he'll be back, and they have started to figure stuff out. Right now, their record is 5-14. They're 4th in the Southwest Division, and Desmond Bane is leading the team in points with 23.8 a game. We're also without our starting center, Steven Adams, and that has definitely been a big impact because he was kind of a veteran presence in the front court that we needed. And we've always kind of needed that as far back as Marc Gasol. We had him. Then we had Jonas Valanciunas, and then now Steven Adams. And I think they all have a kind of common, they're just big foreign guys that kind of lead the team. They're like the heart of the team that make things come together, and that's how it's been ever since I've been a fan. So basically my whole life. So without him and Ja Morant, that kind of makes us into a whole new team. And then with us releasing Dylan Brooks and trading Tyus Jones, we no longer have anybody left from that grit and grind era team with Mike Conley, Tony Allen, Zach Randolph, and people like that. So just looking into some of the stats, Jaren Jackson is averaging 19.6 a game, which it's not bad at all. I would wish that he was averaging a couple more rebounds, considering he is the main big on the team right now besides Bismack Biyombo, who we just picked up out of the free agency, I believe. So, I mean, all these things, I think once Ja comes back, and I don't think Steven Adams will be back this season, but I think once Ja comes back, it'll be able to make things come together, because I don't think they quite know who their main scorer is right now. But once Ja comes back, they'll kind of know this is our guy. Here's our second option. Here's our third option. And then we also picked up Derrick Rose in the offseason. And he hadn't been bad. It is definitely a change from our last backup point guard, which was Tyus Jones. And I will argue all day about it. I think Tyus Jones was the best backup point guard in the league. You know what I mean? You can just look at the stats, look at the impact he had. Even when Ja was out last season with an injury, the Grizzlies won, I think, 12 games straight without Ja. And that's just because, I mean, we knew who could score the ball and who couldn't. Now it's almost like we don't know. And then we have people like Marcus Smart as the starting point guard, and I don't think that's what we definitely did not get him to be the starting point guard. I think we got him to fill in the place of Dylan Brooks, but be a better shooter and have a better attitude and bring a better type of view on the team, because Dylan Brooks made a lot of people hate the Grizzlies. I've never seen so many people hate one team. And I think with Dylan Brooks being gone, the narrative has kind of changed. But yeah, if I do continue the podcast, I'll definitely cover the Grizzlies a lot more. I'll cover Ole Miss football. I grew up about an hour away from Oxford, Mississippi, where the Rebels play. My mom went there. And, I mean, I could talk about them for even longer. I've been watching them since I could barely walk. So thank you for all these podcasts.